Azor Ahai. Azor Ahai is a legendary figure in the faith of Rulalar, the Lord of Light. Thousands of years ago, he forged the sword Lightbringer which he used to defeat the darkness of the Great Other. This came at a price, however, as in order to unleash the sword's true powers he had to plunge it into the heart of his loving wife, Nissa. A prophecy foretells that he will be reborn as the prince that was promised. Azor Ahai was a legendary hero who wielded a burning sword called Lightbringer, according to tales from Azor and followers of Rulalar. In some other cultures this warrior is called Herkun the hero, Tar, Neferian, and Eldritch Shadowchaser. Melisandre has mentioned the prince that was promised and Azor Ahai interchangeably, although she tends to use the name Azor Ahai far more often. It is unknown if Azor Ahai is connected with the Westerosi legend of the last hero, who lived during the Long Night and helped to defeat the others. Legend. According to legends from the further east, the blood betrayal of the Bloodstone Emperor began an age of darkness, which Westerosi called the Long Night, in ancient times when the old empire of Guise was still forming. A great warrior rose to fight this darkness lying over the world, according to a legend which spread from Azor. Followers of Rulalar say the hero's name was Azor Ahai, while other cultures call him Herkun the hero, Tar, Neferian, and Eldritch Shadowchaser. Tales from ET speak of a heroic woman with a monkey's tail, and legends from the north regale about a last hero who gained the aid of the children of the forest. Azor Ahai needed to forge a hero's sword, so he labored for 30 days and 30 nights at the sacred fires of a temple until it was done. However, when he went to temper it in water, the sword broke. He was not one to give up easily, so he started over. Azor Ahai took 50 days and 50 nights to make another sword better than the first. To temper it this time, he captured a lion and drove the sword into its heart, but once more the steel shattered. The third time, with a heavy heart, for he knew beforehand what he must do to finish the blade, Azor Ahai worked for 100 days and nights until it was finished. This time, he called for his wife, Nissa, and asked her to bare her breast. He drove his sword into her living heart, her soul combining with the steel of the sword, creating Lightbringer, the red sword of heroes. Lightbringer was henceforth always warm to the touch. Although he had Lightbringer, Azor Ahai did not fight alone, instead leading virtuous men into battle so that the darkness could be routed. The Jade Compendium mentions that when the hero thrust the blade through a monster, the creature burst into flame. According to prophecy, in ancient books of Azor from over 5,000 years ago, Azor Ahai is to be reborn again as a champion sent by Rulalar. This will occur after a long summer when an evil, cold darkness descends upon the world. It is said that wielding Lightbringer once again, Azor Ahai will stand against the darkness, and if he fails, the world fails with him. A clash of kings. While burning statues of the Seven at Dragonstone, Melisandre, a red priestess from Azor, proclaims that Stannis Baratheon is Azor Ahai come again. She also declares that Stannis' sword is Lightbringer. Afterward, Salladhor Saan tells Davos Seaworth about the legends of Azor Ahai and the hero's burning sword, but the Selsale doubts the authenticity of Stannis' blade. A storm of swords. Melisandre continues to claim that Stannis is Azor Ahai reborn, the warrior of fire whose return was heralded by the Red Comet. She tells Davos Seaworth that Stannis will wake dragons out of stone. A feast for crows. The dying Maester Aemon now believes that Daenerys Targaryen fits the prophecy because she was born at Dragonstone amid salt and smoke, and she possesses 3 dragons. A dance with dragons. Jon Snow, Lord Commander of the Night's Watch, tells Clydas that he read the legend of Azor Ahai in the book Maester Aemon left him, the Jade Compendium. Benero of Volantis proclaims that Daenerys is Azor Ahai returned. In the books. In the A Song of Ice and Fire novels, Azor Ahai was a legendary hero who lived approximately 8,000 years before Aegon's landing. Stories of the Long Night, or a similar cataclysmic event, are also common across Essos. According to one version, a great darkness lay over the world, and Azor Ahai was the hero chosen to fight against it. To fight the darkness, Azor Ahai needed to forge a hero's sword. He labored for 30 days and 30 nights until it was done. However, when he went to temper it in water, the sword broke. He was not one to give up easily, so he started over. The second time he took 50 days and 50 nights to make the sword, even better than the first. To temper it this time, he captured a lion and drove the sword into its heart, but once more the steel shattered. The third time, with a heavy heart, for he knew beforehand what he must do to finish the blade, he worked for 100 days and nights until it was finished. This time, he called for his wife, Nissa, and asked her to bare her breast. He drove his sword into her living heart, her soul combining with the steel of the sword, creating the weapon known as Lightbringer. According to ancient prophecies that were written down in Ahai over 5,000 years ago, Azor Ahai is to be reborn and destined to defeat the darkness once again. Following a long summer, an evil, cold darkness will descend upon the world. Wielding Lightbringer once again, Azor Ahai will stand against it, and if he fails, the world fails with him. There will come a day after a long summer when the stars bleed and the cold breath of darkness falls heavy on the world. In this dread hour a warrior shall draw from the fire a burning sword. And that sword shall be Lightbringer, the red sword of heroes, and he who clasps it shall be Azor Ahai come again, and the darkness shall flee before him. Some readers believe that Azor Ahai reborn is the same hero as the prince that was promised, while others believe that is erroneous and that they come from two distinct prophecies. Azor Ahai and the prince that was promised have thus far never been mentioned in the same sentence, although Melisandre has mentioned the prince that was promised and Azor Ahai interchangeably. However, she tends to use the name Azor Ahai far more often. The World of Ice and Fire Sourcebook, 2014, clarifies that there are several mythological or legendary characters similar to Azor Ahai, and that both the maesters and the scholars of ET believe them to all be the same figure, much as all their stories of the Long Night itself are understood to refer to the same event. Other Azor Ahai figures referred to east of the Bone Mountains are Herkun the hero, Tar, Neferian, and Eldrick Shadowchaser. In the third and fifth novels, Melisandre states, when the red star bleeds and the darkness gathers, Azor Ahai shall be born again amidst smoke and salt to wake dragons out of stone. The bleeding star has come and gone, and Dragonstone is the place of smoke and salt. Stannis Baratheon is Azor Ahai reborn. While Dragonstone, a volcanic island, can indeed be considered as place of smoke and salt, Stannis was not born there but in Storm's End, and so far has not woken any dragons from stone. Daenerys, on the other hand, was born on Dragonstone, and has hatched fossilized dragon eggs into live dragons, in a miraculous ritual under the Red Comet at the pyre of her late husband Drogo. Apparently Melisandre is unaware that Daenerys is more likely to be Azor Ahai than Stannis, based on her own words. If you like this content, don't forget to like and subscribe. See you later, bye bye.